Hi, my name's Jonathan, and this is Looking Up. Today we're going to talk about family members and how they can help sometimes and often distract from the things you're trying to do in life. A few years ago, I learned that people who love us sometimes are going to lie, they won't support us, they're not going to care for us, and they don't necessarily speak into our own dreams and hopes because they don't believe we can reach them. And it's kind of sad that happens, but it's true. Even in the story of David and Goliath, we find this happening. When David comes to the front line with provisions for his brothers, he hears Goliath issue his challenge. One of the soldiers says, "Boy, the king's going to give this man who defeats this Goliath great things, money, his daughter, no more taxes." Ooh, that's a good one. I'd like that one. I know you would too. But that's what the king's going to do. And David almost seems incredulous. And so he goes to another soldier and says, "What's going to be done for the man that defeats this imbecile who's defying the armies of the living God?" And he repeats what the first soldier has said. And he keeps asking around. And pretty soon one of David's brothers hears that David's doing this, and he confronts him and he says, "Hey, David, listen, you're arrogant. Go back to your tiny little flock and stop talking all bold around here because you just handle sheep and you're irrelevant." Well, David basically says, "I'm just asking a question. What's the harm in that?" But David's speaking confidently when nobody else is, and he doesn't change his tune just because his brother says he should go home. Some of us, when our families don't support us, see that as a strong setback, a reason not to do something, but not David. And in my dreams, I also often let family ideas and positions and opinions set me back. But to move forward in life, you have to sometimes realize that family and other people who care about you may not have your best interest at heart. They may not know what God really puts in your heart that you really care for, what's really passionate inside of you. And when that stirs inside of you, something inside of you says, "I've got to do this." It doesn't matter if your family is against it or they don't understand it or they say you should go back to something small when God's raising you up for something important that you believe you need to do. To move forward, sometimes you have to do it in spite or in the face of obstacles of family and sometimes even friends, but definitely in the face of those who you are up against or what you're up against inside and in the world around you. But I'm here to encourage you to say, listen, you can do this. You can make it through this. You can rise above. You can keep going forward. Remember, the thing that God's called you to, not everybody's going to support, but God's in it. And he's saying, "I'm here. Look beyond those things to me." And when you do that, you know what I mean by looking up to God in spite of all things, because there's a lot more to be seen when you're looking up.